Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Out Front. Entertainment and news and talking about things that are making a difference in our community. I have with me this evening Miss Tamika Garrett, who's back from Atlanta for the last 3 or 4 days, and I hope she got some rest while she was over there. And I hope she thought about all of the things that we need to do to make this enterprise successful, to make it profitable, to make it worthy, have value to our citizens and our community. All those things you get to do when you're driving on long trips, Tamika. When there's no one to talk to, you get a chance to get in contact with your inner self and decide if you're right for the task ahead, or you're the leader that has been called. Do you have the commitment and the convictions that are necessary to endure, to pay the price? It's hard out here. You gotta get the money to pay the rent. It's real hard. And this is for only the strong. Private enterprise. There's nothing fake about this one. You got to get it done, or it's going to get you done. You're either going to make some money, or it's going to take your money. No middle of the road. You got to get it done. So again, this program is brought to you by the Next Level Entertainment Complex. Shout out to my brother, Charles Pickett, who works in that establishment along with other establishments every day, trying to make a difference in South Jackson and trying to make a difference in our community, and trying to bring new ideas and concepts to South Jackson. It's hard out here. But this brother stays in the trenches. He never wavers. He stays in the fight. And he's in the fight to the finish, and the kind of brother that you want in the foxhole with you at all times. You don't have to worry about what he's thinking or what's on his mind. He's going to share that with you. So shout out to you, Brother Pickett, Next Level. I know that we had a lot of exciting events this past week and a lot of things on the calendar to come, so I'm going to stand back for a moment and let Tamika bring us up to date on the activities.
Well, thank you, Mr. Garrett. Unfortunately, I was not here on this past Friday, but from what I understand and people sending in their comments via social media and text messaging, Jackson Music Association had their kickoff reception at Next Level. So we want to, one, thank them for selecting our venue to have such a great thing when you're recognizing talent right here in our own state. You don't have to drive down the street or take a flight. There's so much talent here. So again, thank you guys for selecting Next Level as your venue, and then also for all of those who came and had such a great time. We are, as Mr. Garrett said last week, if you were here listening, trying to find a way to assist with revitalization in South Jackson, but also trying to bring something different that we feel is not just needed, but is very much desired, and people feel like it's something that they want to support so that we can keep our doors open. A lot of times people say there's not a whole lot to do in Jackson, but I beg to differ with that. There's plenty to do here. You just have to kind of go out and look for it, but it is available. If you are having an event that is coming up, whether it's a women's conference, if it's a wedding reception, if it's a concert, a very intimate setting, or simply a birthday party, please consider having your event at our establishment. It's the Next Level Experience. Our website is nextleveljxn.com, or you can text to get more information or call, at 769-447-4518. Again, that number is 769-447-4518. It would be our absolute pleasure to serve you and bring your vision to life for your party that is coming up. Back to you, Mr. Garrett.
Well, thank you, Tamika. Next Level is making a difference. Not only is it making a difference in South Jackson, but it's making a difference all across this city. As we work with those that are trying to make a difference, as we support and we finance and we tutor and we mentor and we allow children to come and learn and craft and skill and how to interview and how to dress and how to talk, how to build their self-esteem. We work closely with young folk. As I said on another show, the end of last year, we had 92 W-2s that had to be completed. That means we hired 92 young African-American men and women in our first 90 days in business. And that's what it's going to take, commitment like that from our entrepreneurs to make a difference in our community. But tonight we're going to talk about, business and how do you make it successful and what's required. And I tell you, we have to start with a vision. You have to have a vision of what it is you're trying to accomplish. And so when I talk to young aspiring business people and I talk to people who have been in business for a while, they all seem to have a vision. They all have a great idea. They all think that this business will be successful. No one ever goes into business to fail. And yet the business closure rate and the failings are astronomical. Normally it's a 3 to 5 year break-even period in traditional business as taught on the academic side, but as I said before, it's 3 to 5 months in the African American community. Means you gotta hurry. You gotta get busy. You got to be busier than a one-legged man in a marathon. You gotta hurry. You gotta get up early in the morning. You gotta stay up late at night. And if you would just notice something, if you go by the offices of those who you consider to be successful, at all times of the day and the night, you'll see their cars at the office. After church on Sunday afternoon, they're back in their office, trying to figure it out, trying to see what will make a difference. And so tonight, I want you to know that work ethics is critically important to your success. The one thing that we all are equal in, and that is the amount of time that we have during a day. And you got to utilize that time better than those that you are competing with. You got to have a strong constitution. One friend told me once about the lion in the jungle and the gazelles. And the gazelles were out training, and one was just sprinting all of the time, and sprinting, exercising, doing push-ups, and walking up the side of hills. And the other one said to him, "I don't know why you do all of that. You are not going to be able to outrun the lion." And he looked at him and said, "I don't have to outrun the lion. I just have to outrun you." And so you got to get in shape for this run. You got to stay in shape. Now, African Americans are not capitalists. Unfortunately, we have not graduated to that mentality, that thought process. We are more social entrepreneurs, meaning that we find it very difficult to take on the position of an aggressive capitalist, which is buying low and selling high as much as the market will bear. We try to set our prices based upon the ability of our customers, and our customers are predominantly African American, so our prices have to be low, meaning that margins are low. So this evening we're going to talk about the critical requirement of budgets. Understanding what a budget is and how important it is to being successful. You see, first of all, the budget quantifies the vision. The budget indicates that I know the method and the direction that I'm going. So you create the budget. And the first part of that budget is payroll. The most devastating part of any business success is in the area of payroll, in the number of employees that you hire, and whether or not you're able to get the right people in the right positions at the right time. And so we struggle with payroll, getting the budgets right. And so you see that reflected in all businesses. The current example is the furloughs that were instituted by ex-Mayor Tony Yarborough. He was trying to balance his budget in the area that he knew that was the most difficult category to fix was in the area of payroll. And so we're not able to right-size the ship because we're social entrepreneurs. We're not capitalists. We're not able to say that my burden rate is out of line. My overhead and my general and administration expense is out of line for a business of this size. We try to outrun it. And what does that do? It puts more pressure on the engine, on the entrepreneur, on the leader, on the president, on the visionary person that is required. We try to outrun it, outsell it, as opposed to budgeting properly and working inside of the budget. So, business people, do your budget. Start with payroll and employees. Understand the burdens associated with that. Do your budget on utilities and rent, insurance. Do all your budgets on cost of goods sold and acquisitions of products and materials required to build the product or service that you're selling. Do the budget that includes all of the taxes, some 48% tax burden when you take a look at all that we have to pay. Do the budget on retained earnings. What are you going to have in order to capitalize on new equipment, vehicles? We often make a big mistake with vehicles. We have far too many in our businesses. Far too many employees are driving vehicles home, both in the private and the public sector. All of that's part of our social concept of how this thing operates. So fix that. Become a stronger person that is able to establish the budget and then work within the budget. Now this is what it'll tell you. And this is when you'll know that you're getting it, that you got an understanding of how your business operates. When you're able to budget your line items and then perform inside of that budget, then you know you understand what's required. When you are unable to hit a budget, to meet the budget, it doesn't mean that something went wrong in the process. It means that you didn't understand the nature of that beast. You didn't understand it, so you budgeted it wrong. And now you can't correct it. Those of you that are in the construction industry and those of you that are bidding for jobs, it is impossible to outrun a bad budget or estimate. If you lose it with the pen on the front end, you cannot catch it with hard work and sacrifice and commitment and dedication on the back end. And we try that so hard. The mistake was made when you created the budget, when you created the estimate, and you won the job, celebrating, not knowing that it's going to take you under, going to put you out of business. So before we do anything else, let's take a look at our vision, and let's match the vision to the budget, and let's see if we can operate in that category. I don't care if you have 150 line items. If you're in the lawn service business and you don't have a budget for the cost of weed eater string, you're not going to be successful. If you're not able to allocate the cost of the lights in your office to specific jobs, you're not going to be successful. That light bulb has costs. It has to be covered inside of the operation. But you can't cover it if you don't recognize that it has costs. So we got to get this budget thing fixed properly. It's the most difficult thing to do. But it's only difficult to do because you, the entrepreneur, is failing to understand the requirements of the business you're trying to run. So you got to seek a lot of help with that. That's where you visit with your accountant. Not to do my taxes at the end of the year when there's no impact that you can have on the outcome of my success. That's the wrong time. All he's doing at that point in time is reading you the record of what has occurred during the year, but not providing you any insight and not being a real partner in saying that your percentages and your allocations are not And when I say performer, that means that it takes in every category of revenue that's associated with what you're trying to do. And it builds a cost model associated with that revenue stream.
Mr. Garrett, let's have some fun with this a little bit. So I have worked for many.
I'm already having fun.
Well, let me get some advice here. I have worked with many managers.
Then if the business does not perform, what we tend to do is say that we'll outrun it, we'll create more sales that we haven't created in the past, and we try to outrun it, but there's not enough money to maintain everybody that you put in the budget. Your vision, it wasn't your employee's vision. So no one shares in your vision but you. There may be some people that work alongside you that give lip service to, I'm with you. But nobody is with you in your business. Mentally, and if it destroys this family.
That's how you feel.
I'm going to put it all on the line every day. That's how everybody feels, Tamika, that when you see their car at the office at 10 o'clock at night, because the reality is that you came into the environment following the vision with nothing. So you came into the environment already down. So when things get tight, that you are going to mentor, that you're going to make a difference. That's not asking too much. And I'm not talking to black folk when I say that. I am talking to black folk, but I'm not. Hell. Carla, you're on the air. You're on the air. Yeah, go ahead. You're breaking up, Carla. Try it again.
The same. This is a good show for people that are trying to get in business and for people that are in business, because I have observed you're in the city of Jackson, and I commend you, and it's always an honor to see a person of color, a black man, have some level of success. I don't care how much success, some level of success in business, but it's good that you would take the time and the effort and the research